Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya. If you've never been here before, hit that subscribe button down below. I talk about all things books, lifestyle, vlogs, sports, all the things. So if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back. Today I'm going to be doing my October TBR and we are back playing Drag Queens Choose My TBR. Before we jump into any of the housekeeping stuff, let's wrap up the last month. So because I played Spoopathon, or I'm in the process of playing Spoopathon in September, we have our cards to kind of like add up from the month of August. The first card that we had was Priyanka, which was the first book in a series, and for this I read Gideon the Ninth. Then we had Prettiest Cover, which I read Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. Then we had booktube pick, which was Violet Chachki, and I did not read the book I had chosen for this, which was The Gilded Ones, and so that card went back into the deck. Then we had library pick, and for this one I read We Have Always Been Here. That one I read, but it is back at the library, so I can't show you. Then we had a wild card, and for this one I chose Wrecked by Lauren Asher, which is the third book in the Dirty Air series, and I did read that. And then lastly we had friend pick, which was A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. My friend Danica picked this one, and I did read this. So overall, out of the 6 books we chose, I read 5. So I get to put recent purchase card back into the deck, which I already did, and so we're set for the next round. So you also wouldn't have seen a wrap up yet for August, and that's because I decided that I wanted to play a fun game, and for that I need to combine my August and September wrap-ups into one. So you will be seeing that in the month of October, and it will be fun, so it will be worth the wait. But I did have a very good reading month overall, so that's good. Next, for housekeeping, in October, I already know I'm not participating in my usual in-person book club. I just don't really have any interest in the books that they've chosen for this month, so I won't be participating in that. And for my other 2 book clubs, they have not yet chosen what books we will be reading, so I'm giving myself the ability to replace any of the books I choose for this TBR with one of those books if it fits and if I decide that I want to read them. So the only other thing is that October is Spoopathon, and this month or this year Holly has like changed her way that she's doing the game, so she's not going to give prompts ahead of time, so the prompts will be given out throughout the month. So I can't plan for that readathon ahead of time. I will be participating though, and my plan is to do weekly vlogs where we'll fit the books that we choose this month into those other prompts that she's given and try and complete the board. But I can't complete that readathon ahead of time. But if you are interested in doing the readathon, I'll link it down below. So all that's left now is to get out our deck of cards. And while I'm shuffling these and getting them ready, I have a question. I'll put it on Instagram as well, but my question is, should I redo the game every year? So come December, it will have been a year of me playing Drag Queens Choose My TBR. Should I put all the cards back into the deck and start over, or should I keep going until I've used up all of the cards and then start over? I'm leaning towards the second one, but if you have feelings, please let me know. So we're gonna be choosing 6 cards, so here we go. Hopefully some with our reward prompts on them. So the first card that we picked, this one is Jan, but it has a red sticky on it, and the red sticky corresponds to prompt or having read 6 books in the month, which means that we get to choose any book for this card. Yay, that's exciting. Okay. The next one that we have is Rosé, which is a book set in the UK. All right. Next we have Trixie Mattel. One is a poll pick. Lovely. Okay. Next we have Manila Luzon. I think this is also a friend pick, but I don't remember. Yes. Okay. Friend pick. Next we have Gottmik. It's a social media pick, so I'm going to have to scroll through Instagram and read the first book that comes up that I own. And lastly, we have Juicebox, and that is a mood read. Okay, so one of the things that I'm focusing on this month is to try and only read books that I already own, because I have a lot of them and I don't need to buy more. But I will buy more, but I would like to read some of the other ones first. So let's do the Mick pick first, and then we'll go into the other prompts once I figure out what I want to do for that. So I'm gonna start the screen recording, move over so you can see, and we're gonna open Instagram and see what we can find. It might be a bit because I don't follow a ton of book accounts. Oh, here's Babbel. I don't own that one. Elton John. I mean, technically we own that, but it's not mine. Ooh, The Last Housewife. Oh, I didn't buy that one though. Okay, never mind. Come on, Instagram. I'm gonna switch over to TikTok and see if we have any more luck. Okay, unhaul. No. No. I don't know that. Oh. Well, I'm gonna keep scrolling, but that's a possibility. They do own her first book. Oh, what book did you read? Yes, okay, I'm going with that book. Okay. Oh, I better stop the screen recording, but for that one, we're gonna be doing Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Now I'm gonna go figure out the rest of the books and I'll be back. Okay. I am back with some answers. So for a couple of these, I don't have the results of my questions for people. So I'm gonna tell you what I've offered them as choices, and then I'll pop back in later in the week to film the end of this video with the actual books that were chosen. So first, I'm out of breath. Okay, so the first pick, we had Jan with a red sticky, which is a reward, which means that we get to pick any book that we want. And for this one, I'm going to read Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. I bought this a while ago and it's been sitting on my staircase. And I keep looking at it, and it's like dark academia, romance, so I think it'll be really good for October. So essentially it's about, let me just read you the blurb. When I was a child, I loved old men, and I could tell they also loved me. And so we meet our deliciously incisive narrator, a popular English professor whose charismatic husband at the same liberal arts college is under investigation for inappropriate relationships with his former students. The couple has long maintained a comfortable understanding when it came to extramarital pursuits, but with these allegations, life has become far less comfortable for both of them. And when our narrator finds herself alarmingly infatuated with Vladimir Vlidinsky, a celebrated young novelist newly arrived on campus, their tinderbox world comes dangerously close to exploding. Also the cover. That's all I have to say. Okay, so that is the first one. Next, we have Rosé, which is set in the UK. And for this one, I'm going to be reading another dusty one, The Picture of Dorian Gray. So one of the prompts in Rachel from Rad Reading, in her challenge for the year, is a reread from high school, and I am getting close to the end of the year and haven't completed that. And I recently bought this like really beautiful edition of The Picture of Dorian Gray from a local bookstore. So I remember loving this book in high school, and I think it's the perfect like autumnal, cozy, spooky book to read. If you don't know what this is about, essentially it is a classic, and it is about Dorian who gets his portrait painted and then he doesn't age, but his portrait does, I believe, and he like starts to become like really horrible, and his painting starts to look like how he is as a person. I believe that's what the plot of the book is, but there's also no summary in this copy. So we'll find out. Next we had Trixie Mattel, and this is a poll pick. So I decided that I need to go get working through my Kindle books, because I always just forget about them because they're not physically in my hands. So I'm going to give my followers on Instagram and possibly on Twitter, we'll see, 4 different books to choose from. So the first one is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The second one is The Goddess Effect, and now I can't remember who this is by, one moment, by Sheila Yasmin Marikar. This one I don't believe is actually out yet, but I got it with the Kindle new release, Amazon new release thing that they are doing, so I'm very excited for that one. Next we have Redeemed, which is the 4th book in the Dirty Air series. I'd love to finish it, and I love the series. That one's by Lauren Asher, and the last one is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. That is a fantasy about mermaids. So those are the 4 books I'm gonna put up the poll for, and we'll choose one of those based on the results. Next, we have Friend Pick. So I messaged one of my friends and asked them if they would be willing to choose from a few books to choose for me, because I'm trying to do like purchased ones, and I decided to do nonfiction for this one. I wanted to have a little bit of control because I cannot give up control. So anyway, the 4 options I've given her are The Power of Regret by Daniel H. Pink. This one is about using regret to move you forward. I apparently briefly started it, but anyway, that's one. The next one is A Year of Voting Dangerously by Maureen Dowd, which I picked up at the used book sale this summer, and it's about Trump and voting in the US, which I feel like is fitting because midterms are coming up in November. It is a chunky one though. Then I gave her Men Who Hate Women by Laura Bates. I've talked about this a bunch because I've hauled it, and it was in my poll option for last month, and I just really want to read it. So I'm hoping she picks this one. I feel like she might, but we'll see. And lastly, we have Please Don't Sit on My Bed in Your Outside Clothes by Phoebe Robinson. This is more of a memoir than the other 3, but that's fine. I want to read it. I've started it, but have not finished it, and it's really good so far. So those are the 4 books I've given her. So when I hear back, we'll know which one at the end of the video. Then we had social media, and we got Caraval, thanks to one of the TikTokers that I follow. And this is, basically I read The Night Circus earlier this year and loved it. Then I read Hotel Magnifique in August and loved it. And then Caraval is kind of like the third of that type. Oftentimes it's like, oh, you'll like this book if you liked Caraval and The Night Circus. So I feel like I have to get to it, and I bought it at Chapters the other day. So again, I don't think this one, oh, here we go. Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway once-a-year performance, similar to the Night Circus, where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamt of invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only, as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Caraval is an elaborate performance, but nevertheless, she becomes enmeshed in a game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. So, I've heard good things about this. It's a series, but I'm hoping that I'll enjoy the first one, and we'll read that this October. And then lastly, we had Mood Read, and because it's a mood read, I picked 2, and then when I get there, I will decide. Mostly because I wanted to fit both of them on my TBR, and I had no idea how else to. So the 2 books I've chosen are Hide by Kristen White and Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Moyer. So both of these are spooky Halloween vibes. I'm hoping that these more spooky or like dark academia books will fit with the prompts that Spoops is gonna put out, but I don't know. So Hide is about a game of hide and seek, with the prize being enough money to change everything, but people start to like die and it's like very spooky. I bought this right when it came out, but I've heard mixed things. I'm not sure if I'm gonna enjoy it, but it is short and on the list now. And then we have Harrow the Ninth. This is the sequel to Gideon the Ninth, which I absolutely adored, and I wanted to get to that this month, but I'm not going to, so putting it on the list. Okay, so those are all the possibilities. I will be back later on in the week to film the last clip of this video and tell you what the poll and friend pick have chosen for the TBR, and so I'll see you in a bit. Hello, it is a couple of days later and the TBR is set. So let's talk about the books that have been added, and then we'll talk about everything that we're reading for the month. So my friend Bhavana picked Please Don't Sit on My Bed in Your Outside Clothes by Phoebe Robinson. And I have read part of this one, but I'm really looking forward to continuing. It's just kind of like a bunch of essays about her life, and so far I've been finding it really great, so I'm happy Bhavana chose this one. So this one will join the TBR under friend pick. And then we have the results of the Instagram poll for the poll pick, and I'm going to be reading Daisy Jones and the Six on my Kindle for the month of October. So here is the stack. It looks like a lot. We're missing Daisy Jones, but let's talk about this. So we have Please Don't Sit on My Bed in Your Outside Clothes, which is a friend pick. We have Harrow the Ninth and Hide for mood read, Caraval for social media pick, Picture of Dorian Gray for set in the UK, and we have Vladimir for any book. So, oh, and we have Daisy Jones for the poll pick. And that is everything. So this is my stack for October. I am super excited for the month, and stay tuned for vlogs every week about Spoopathon and to see how I'm getting through this baby right here. If you enjoyed watching today's TBR game, Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the post notifications by hitting the little bell so that you know every single time I post. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more daily content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!